Albert Schweitzer once said, "At times our own light goes out and is rekindled by a spark from another person. Each one of us has reason to think with deep gratitude on those who have rekindled the light within us." We're here to remember Pat Carter and to remember the many ways she rekindled light within all who knew and loved her. And so in a moment, we'll light a chalice to affirm light in the midst of darkness and to affirm life in the face of death. I invite you to join with me in responsive reading that's back of your gray hymnal. It's 468, words that we often read to help remember those we've lost. I'll read the first words, and then I invite you to join in the words in italics. We need one another when we mourn and would be comforted.
We need one another when we are in trouble and afraid.
We need one another when we are in despair, in temptation, and need to be recalled to our best selves again.
We need one another when we have accomplished some great purpose and cannot do it alone.
We need one another in the hour of success when we look for someone to share our triumphs.
We need one another in the hour of defeat, when with encouragement we might endure and stand again.
We need one another when we come to die and would have gentle hands prepare us for the journey.
All of our lives are in our need, and others are in need of us.
My name is Lily, and I'm Pat's granddaughter. And I was just thinking it's very like my family to have a whole production for the memorial service. I think Grammy would have wanted nothing less. She loved the drama, and we are remembering that she was a great performer, both as a musician and as a human. And I think she's probably upstairs taking notes on what we should do differently next time. The piece that I'm starting with Faye, thank you so much, Faye, for playing this with me. This was one I used to play with Grammy, and it's called Salut d'Amour. It's by Edward Elgar, a British composer, and it's a musical love letter. He wrote it for his fiancée on the occasion of their engagement, and in return, she wrote him a poem. Grammy is the reason I have this violin that I'm playing, so when I play it, I feel like I'm holding her hand. So this is a musical love letter for her. This is Salut d'Amour.
The piece I'm going to play, the Sicilienne, was Grammy's go-to piece. Whenever she went to play somewhere, she would say, "Come on, we're going to go play Sicilienne," right? I mean, it was the encore after encore, and I'm talking about all over the world, right? Not just Knoxville. We're talking about Turkey, India, Israel, Jordan, Egypt, you name it. We played Sicilienne there. Grammy also was really into fabrics. She was a fabulous seamstress. She made many of the gowns that she played her concerts in herself. And so I pulled this out of the closet because this is a piece that came out of one of her collections. And I thought, well, it's in the closet, what's it doing in there? You know? So we have to say that Grammy had multiple talents. She was really incredible with fabrics. I have her pre-war Anchor sewing machine that, that actually made clothes for me when I was a kid and made gowns for her when she was performing and did all sorts of alterations and whatever anybody needed. That machine was her friend. So back to Sicilienne. I hope you enjoy it. She loved this piece, and I'm honored that Faye is going to play it with me. I wanted to say something about the Schubert Fantasy that Faye and David are going to play later. The two-piano repertoire, both four-hand and two-piano, was the soundtrack to my childhood. Every night, my parents would be down in the living room on their two Steinways, just working it out. And so this particular piece that they will play was a favorite. And so we hope that you enjoy it. Oh, that's true. The last time David played was with Mom.
A poem by Robert Pack, which he wanted to call Double Concerto Mountain and Orchestra, but his editor wanted to call Looking at a Mountain Range While Listening to Mozart Piano Concerto. And he was listening to music, looking at the mountains of Vermont, but I think we can imagine our own Smokies in our imagination. Looking eastward through my picture window over the snow, the sun just down, I see the mountain range hazing to one shade of blue. Now with the trees obscured, it is a sweep of shape darkening so flat one might not recognize a mountain range at all. Its silhouette is just a wandering line drawn by a hand that might be falling asleep, or else so free that every arc it makes of rise and fall expresses the contentment that it feels at heart, although it leads nowhere but on, and might as well drift off into another range of further blue. Brightly the piano asserts its melody. The orchestra gathers its colors to reply. True to the law that everything responds, nothing is left unanswered. That variation extends the self as if one's life were made essential in a piano's theme, departing, then returning one to what one is. And now again it is the piano's turn, and now the separate instruments again, as one move onward to their chosen end, beyond which nothing else will be desired. And so my ears pulse back into themselves. My eyes return to seeing what they see, the mountain silhouette, a floating line, leading my sight where visible blue ends. It is the end in thought. My life goes on.
Assalamu alaikum. My name is Yasin Suraira, and I am the son-in-law of, I hate to call a parent by the first name. In our culture, we call a parent by the name of the oldest child. So she is the mother of Julie, Julie, and I'm her son-in-law. Few days before her passing away, she looked at me. It was a very clear, strong look, and there was a smile. I researched later, and this is called lucidity in English. I hope that my English is right. I'm a speaker of Arabic, hardly speaking any English. Anyhow, and so I looked at her and I said, oh my God, we have 10 more years. So I thought that today we will, 10 years from now, we will be celebrating her 110 years. But she closed her eyes after that. And I went and I've watched my father, when somebody is dying, they go and they hold right hand, right palm, especially the fingers. And then they could tell whether the person is dying or not. So I held her fingers, and they were cold. And I put her hand, left her hand, and there was no resistance, which meant that she was dying. And I realized then that she was dying. And I knew that we don't have any more, maybe 10 days, not 10 more years. Anyhow, my prayer is in Arabic. Unfortunately, I don't speak English. Sorry about that. And I hope that at the end of the prayer, we all say Ameen. I be lifting my arms the way, this is the way we do it in my culture. اللهم يا معبود يا كريم يا خالق الجميع ارحمها واغفر لها واجعلها من ساكني الجنة يا أرحم الراحمين آمين. اللهم يا خالق الكون يا رب العالمين ارحمها وبشرها بما يسرها وكف عنها ما يضرها ويسر لها في أمرها ولتحتفل معها ملائكة الجنة بعيدها 100 في الجنة في السماء وما بعد 100 في جنتك يا رب العالمين آمين. اللهم يا جبار يا قدير أنا نستودعك أمنا فبارك لها سعيها لسعي الآخرين واجمعنا معها في جنتك إنك أنت الجبار القدير آمين. اللهم يا خلاق يا رب العالمين أبدل دارها بدار خير من دارها بحدائق مليئة بالزهور والأحباب إنك أنت مولانا القدير يا رب العالمين آمين. اللهم يا معبود يا كريم فلنحتفل في بيت أكبر من بيتها وعلى بيانو أكبر من بيانها آمين يا رب العالمين. اللهم يا منزل الغيث يا كريم أسألك الزيادة في إيمانها وسعة رزقها وعافية جسدها آمين يا رب العالمين. اللهم يا خالق السماوات والأرض أجزها عن الإحسان إحسانا وعن الإساءة عفوا. اللهم زد في حسناتها وتجاوز عن سيئاتها بغفرانك يا رب العالمين آمين. اللهم يا رحمن يا رحيم اجعل قبرها روضة من رياض الجنة آمين. Please all آمين. Thank you. Thank you very much for listening to me. You want to translate?
Where is it?
She will translate some of the prayer. Get it from there. I don't have it here.
Here it is. Almighty God, I pray to you to make her birthdays all of her birthdays here and in heaven the happiest. O God, grant my mother-in-law a constant doer of good, that what pleases her protect her from that which may harm her, and gather us with her in paradise. Creator God, bless her for her constant quest to make others happy. O God, grant her a home in heaven that is better than her earthly home, with a green garden full of flowers, and O God, gather us with her in heaven. O God, double her good deeds and forgive any of her transgressions. O God, reward her for her charity, good deeds, and help of the needy. May God make her resting place a garden of paradise. O God, let her maintain her unforgettable laugh. O Lord, bless her generous heart, noble soul, and distinctive smile. Okay.
Amen.
In honor of the memory of my husband's mother-in-law, he composed a few words of Nabatean, of Arabic poetry. So he will read from that. And
Unfortunately in Arabic.
then more in Arabic, sorry. But I'll translate for you.
Yeah, I'll do some of it, and she'll do the rest in English. حماتي باتريشا يا بات لا خير بالدنيا وما بيها وين خليتها من يبقى واليم بيها باتريشا يا بات يا ست الحسن والباس والهم القوية وحشانا بنتك جولي وحفيدتك للي والدار وما بيها أضحت ديارنا منازل ثكلى بغلانها قد تركت تبكي باتريشا جولي نهارها مع لياليها خاذاك منا القدر يا عزنا ويا سندنا ومواقيت القدر ما غير الباري الباري يدريها باتريشا يا جولي يا حفيدة ليلي يا ست العزف والفرح عودي لها عيدي لها الضحك الحلوة لهلك عيدي لها باتريشا يا جدة ليلي يا بركة الدار لديارك عودي لها لا تطول المشوار والغيبة يا غالية عودي لها. I stop here, it's a longer one, and Julie would do the translation.
O Lady of beauty, glory, and honor, we all, your daughter Julie, your granddaughter Lily, I and everyone miss you terribly. Our home has become a bereaved home, where everything in it cries for Patricia day and night. O Mother of Julie, Grammy of Lily, Lady of knowledge and joy, we wish you will return to bring back joy and happiness to your family. Last night, after the moon set and others went to bed, my eyes kept turning between awaking and napping. Suddenly, a pleasant, roaring laughter resounded in my ears. Oh boy, is mother-in-law back? Or is it my ears blocked with wax? My mother-in-law looked at me with a happy smile, face and eyes. She looked happy and healthy, decorated with jewelry and embroidered silk. After a little exchange, I heard from her what I have heard again and again. Don't despair, son, and keep things running. She repeated to me her determination slogan of never, ever give up. She said, son, tirelessly and with strong vigor, I toured the east and west. Aladdin's carpet carried me to Jordan and the Dead Sea, the lowest point on earth. And then the magic carpet carried me to Indonesia, China, and Tibet, the highest point on earth. I, my son, without getting tired and with a strong heart, I traveled the earth as a messenger of culture and art. Throughout my travels, happiness and fun were my companions. Getting old made my determination sharper, and my determination and help of others more, not less. My mother-in-law whispered, "Goodbye, son, and please take good care of your family and keep your vigor and enthusiasm high." She surprised me with a calm, gentle, conscious look with a friendly, loving smile. Oh my goodness, this is the same lucid look and smile she gave me a few minutes before fate took her away from us. Those lucid looks and smiles made me give her 10 more birthdays after her 100th. Goodbye, Mother. Your departure is bitter and hard on us. God bless you, Lady of Love and Tenderness.
Thank you for listening.
The poet Maya Angelou once wrote, "People will forget what you say and they'll forget what you did, but they'll never forget how you made them feel." And I think I speak for many in this room tonight when I say Pat Carter made us feel special. There was something about her radiant smile that not only lit up the room, but lit up our lives. And the city of Knoxville is full of her music students. And I know because since she died, I've had people tapping me on the shoulder in Kroger or stopping me in the aisle at CVS just to say, complete strangers, but somehow knew that I was a minister of the Unitarian Church, just to tell stories about what a difference your mom and your grandma made in their lives. Touched so many lives. She had high standards, and the music tonight speaks to those high standards. And she also had a gracious personality. Those two don't always go together. She was a kind teacher who could see the best in you and bring out the best in you. And she was incredibly accomplished. She was integral part of our music program for so many years, performing at different services. And by my estimate, she worked with and supported music program through 8 music directors. So she has definitely made a difference in our church. I talked with 2 of our former music directors that are still living in the community, Will Dunklin and Karen Yarborough. They both spoke about how gracious she was and how she would never ask to play, but she would always say yes if you asked her to play. So she was always thrilled to participate. And in a congregation where there can be a lot of strong and I sometimes say as a minister, I experienced the slings and arrows of outrageous opinions about music. She was always just the most gracious person and just had a real sense of why a music program in a church matters and caring about the people who took risks and would come up and perform. She was an associate professor of piano at the University of Tennessee, maintaining her own studio, taught many generations of students, and perhaps that was the secret to her vibrant personality. She was always in relationship to the young. She was always, and I always think how challenging it must be to have such high standards, but also be able to sit down with beginners and help people start from scratch. That's a special talent. That's a special kind of grace. I first met her in the early 1990s when I came here as a person in my 20s. I was a young man. And one of the things that attracted me to this church, I said then, and I'll say now, is that it had some of the youngest older people I'd ever met. And as the years have passed, I'm becoming, hopefully, one of those younger, older people. But Pat Carter was certainly among that. Just had a youthful spirit. She retired from teaching at UT in 2015 when she was 90 years old, and then continued to volunteer at the Joy of Music, where I'm sure she was well supervised. Claudia Presley was working with many of us. We were hoping to have an 100-year birthday party here at the church, but we are having one. We have birthday cake in the reception hall, and we are celebrating her birthday tonight. In her own family, we see that passing music from one generation to the next. from grandma to mom and to granddaughter, the love of music passed down. And what we see in that microcosm, we know she did in the whole community, and indeed the whole world. There was a very rational humanistic philosopher, Friedrich Nietzsche, who once said, "Without music, life would be a mistake." Without music, life would be a mistake. And I think Pat tried to live in such a way so that we would know life was not a mistake. Life was not a mistake. I once heard another person say, if your logic convinces you that life is not worth living, if your logic convinces you that life is without meaning or purpose, choose life, not logic. And I think her music helped us all choose life, tapped into something that transcends reason and transcends logic. And there is a mystic tradition, in many different traditions, but I first came across it in the Sufi Muslim tradition, that says there is divinity in music. There is divinity in music. Music is the language of the soul, and if you want to unite people of different races and cultures and religions who speak many different languages, music is the best way to do it. Music brings unity with each other and with the divine. Pat Carter traveled the world, going to different nations, sharing her love of music. So many different languages, meeting people with many different languages, but playing music transcends language and helps us connect with each other. The novelist Victor Hugo put it this way when he said, "Music expresses that which cannot be said and on which it is impossible to remain silent." The language of the piano, the violin, the flute, the language that reaches us when so many other languages can't. Earlier we heard a poem by Robert Pack, a double concerto, which brought to mind those concerts in the home of Pat and her husband, Dr. William Porter, would play together, and so many other times she played with people she loved and cared about. And I wanted to remind us of those words. Brightly the piano asserts its melody. The orchestra gathers its colors to reply. True to the law that everything responds, nothing is left unanswered. Nothing is left unanswered. That variation extends the self as if one's life were made essential in a piano's theme, departing, then returning, one to who one is. Pat and William got a divorce, but they were together while your father was in his last days, all the family gathering to be supportive. When they separated, Julie asked her father why they got divorced, and he said, "I got tired of watching your mother flash her taillights." And that's kind of a compliment, I think, because that's the way she was. She was always leading the charge. She was always ahead of her time. She was always moving forward at a fast clip, encouraging us all to join in that pace. And she is still leading us now. She is still leading us now. She has gone ahead, leaving so many of us who knew and loved her behind. And yet, in our mind's eye, we can still see those flashing taillights. Her light still shines with us. Irving Berlin wrote a song with the title, "The Song is Ended, but the Melody Lingers On." And I think that sums up how we feel about Pat Carter. We can still hear her music. We can still see her flashing taillights, beckoning us to move forward, challenging us to make the most out of every minute of our lives. Today would have been her 100th birthday. And we are celebrating. We are mourning her death, but we are also celebrating her life. So I say, happy birthday, Pat Carter. I invite you to join with me in a responsive reading that's in your order of service. Your part's easy, and I'll point when it's time if you don't just want to, and we say, we remember her. Exactly. In the rising of the sun and its going down, in the blowing of the wind and in the chill of winter, in the opening of the buds and in the rebirth of spring, in the blueness of the skies and in the warmth of summer, in the rustling of the leaves and in the beauty of autumn, in the beginning of the year and when it ends, whenever we see a child take their first piano lesson, whenever we see a student nervous before their first recital, whenever we see a smile that makes us believe in ourselves, whenever we hear music we love, so long as we live, she too shall live, for she is a part of us as. I invite you to come to a reception after the service. We'll have these closing words and a postlude, but you really should come for the pictures. There's some really great pictures of Pat at all ages, and including her Patsy Cline phase. So I really do think that is a treat and a chance for people to get to know each other. I've enjoyed my conversations in Kroger and CVS and different places. So you're good people here. Let's get to know each other. So closing words. For the life of Pat Carter, we offer gratitude and thanks. May her memory always be a blessing. May we always feel surrounded by her love. As we go forth from this time and place, let us be inspired by her courage, her wisdom, and her dreams, her flashing taillights. Let us honor her dreams by doing the work of living boldly, loving mightily, and creating heaven on earth. Amen. Blessed be. Go in peace.
I just want to say thank you for joining us this evening. We loved seeing every single one of your wonderful faces, and we are so happy to have been able to share some of Grammy's favorite music with you. And please join us for the reception. We have birthday cake, we have lots of food. And thanks again.
Go in peace.